Have you ever cleared your browser history and found websites you know you never visited? Sites with URLs that make no sense, pages that shouldn't exist. Before you dismiss it as a glitch, consider what happened to Marcus Chen, because what he found in his browser history didn't just challenge his understanding of technology, it challenged his understanding of reality itself. Marcus was a software developer, the kind of person who understood how systems worked. Logic was his language. Code was his comfort zone. So when he noticed the anomalies in his browser history on a Tuesday morning in October, his first instinct was to troubleshoot. The entry appeared between his usual sites: news articles, social media, streaming services. But scattered among them were URLs he didn't recognize. The first one caught his eye because of its timestamp. 3 in the morning. He'd been asleep. The URL was strange. It looked almost normal, almost like a news site he frequented, but with subtle differences. An extra letter here, a different domain extension there. He clicked it, expecting a dead link or an error page. Instead, the site loaded instantly. It was a news website. His news website. Same layout, same logo, same navigation. But the headlines were wrong. They reported events that never happened. An earthquake in Denver that killed thousands. A celebrity still alive in his world. Dead in this one. A president he'd never heard of. Marcus closed the tab, his fingers trembling slightly on the mouse. A mirror site, he told himself. Some kind of alternate reality game or creative writing project. The internet was full of weird rabbit holes. This was just another one. But the next entry in his history was worse. It was his own social media profile. Same username, same profile picture. Except when he clicked it, the page showed a version of his life he'd never lived. Posts about a wife he'd never married. Photos with children he'd never had. Status updates from locations he'd never visited. The comments were from people he knew, but they referenced shared memories that didn't exist. His hands felt cold. He checked his actual profile. Normal, everything as it should be. He looked back at the history. The URL was identical to his real profile, character for character. But somehow, it led to a different place. Marcus spent the next hour clicking through his browser history. The pattern became clear. For every normal site he visited, there were 2 or 3 impossible ones. Versions of familiar websites from realities that diverged from his own in small and large ways. Some differences were trivial. A different actor cast in a popular movie, a sports team winning a championship they'd lost in his world. Others were profound. Wars that never happened, countries with different borders, technologies that didn't exist. He tried to rationalize it. A virus, maybe. Some sophisticated malware creating fake pages. But the detail was too perfect. These weren't simple fabrications. They were complete, consistent alternate histories. When he clicked through multiple pages on these impossible sites, everything connected. The fake news led to fake social media posts. The fake social media led to fake shopping sites selling products that didn't exist. It was as if entire alternate internets were bleeding through into his browser. Then he found the search history. Queries he never typed. Questions he never asked. Someone had been using his computer to search for things. To search for him. His full name, his address, his workplace, his daily routine. The searches were detailed, methodical, as if someone was studying him, learning about him, preparing. Marcus checked his computer's security logs. No unauthorized access. No unusual login times. Whatever was happening, it wasn't a hacker. It was something else. Something that didn't need to bypass his security because it was already inside, or because it was reaching through from somewhere else entirely. The next morning, he found more entries, video streaming sites showing movies that didn't exist, online stores selling products he'd never seen. But one entry made his blood run cold. It was a local news site. His local news site. The headline read, "Software developer found dead in apparent suicide." The article was about him. It described how Marcus Chen, 32 years old, had been found in his apartment. No signs of forced entry. No note. Just a body and a computer left running. Browser still open. The article was dated today. But it was only 9 in the morning, and he was very much alive. He read the details with mounting horror. The article mentioned his recent strange behavior, his paranoia, his claims about impossible websites and alternate realities. Friends and co-workers described a man losing his grip on reality. The article painted a picture of mental breakdown, of delusion, of inevitable tragedy. But Marcus wasn't delusional. He took screenshots. He documented everything. He backed up his browser history to an external drive. He sent emails to friends, trying to explain what was happening. Their responses confused him. They asked if he was okay. They suggested he take time off work. They said he'd been acting strange for weeks. But he hadn't, had he? He checked the calendar on his computer. October 15th. He checked his phone. October 15th. He checked the newspaper sitting on his kitchen counter, delivered that morning. October 23rd. 8 days difference. 8 days he couldn't account for. Marcus opened his browser again, hands shaking. New entries had appeared, dozens of them, all from the past 8 days, all from websites that showed versions of his life spiraling downward. Social media posts he didn't write, growing increasingly erratic. Emails he didn't send, alienating friends and colleagues. Search histories revealing obsession, paranoia, desperation. Then he saw it. A website he recognized, but had never visited. A forum dedicated to dimensional theory, parallel universes, quantum consciousness. One thread was highlighted in his history. The title was, "How to Tell If You've Slipped Between Realities." He clicked it. The post was written by someone claiming to have experienced dimensional displacement. The symptoms were specific: inconsistent memories, objects in wrong places, people remembering events differently, and most tellingly, browser histories showing websites from other dimensions. The post explained that browsers, being quantum systems processing information, sometimes acted as bridges, weak points where realities bled together. The author claimed that once you started seeing through to other dimensions, they started seeing through to you. The last line of the post read, "If you're reading this and experiencing these symptoms, I'm sorry. It means you've been noticed. It means something is trying to cross over, and it's using you as the doorway." Marcus checked the timestamp on the post. It was written 3 years ago. He scrolled to the comments. There were hundreds, all from people claiming similar experiences. But as he read, a pattern emerged. Every commenter stopped posting after a few weeks. Every single one. Their accounts went silent. Their final posts always mentioned the same thing: someone at their door, someone who looked exactly like them. A notification popped up on his screen. A new email from himself. His exact email address. The subject line read, "Let me in." The message body was simple. "I've been trying to get home. You're in my place. You slipped through 8 days ago. You don't belong here. Let me back in." Marcus stood up from his desk, backing away from the computer. The screen flickered. His browser opened new tabs on its own. Dozens of them, all showing the same thing. Live feeds from security cameras. His security cameras. Views of his apartment from every angle. Except in these feeds, he could see someone else. Someone who looked exactly like him. Standing in his rooms, looking at his things, learning his life. And in every feed, the other Marcus was looking directly at the camera, looking directly at him, smiling. The lights in his apartment flickered. His computer screen went black. Then slowly, text appeared. White letters on a black background, not in a browser window, just floating on the screen. Thank you for opening the door. I'll take it from here. Marcus reached for his phone to call someone, anyone. But when he looked at the screen, his reflection stared back at him. Except it wasn't moving when he moved. It was just watching him. And behind his reflection, in the black mirror of the phone screen, he could see his apartment. But it was different, subtly wrong. And in the background, barely visible, he could see himself, the other himself, sitting at his computer, living his life. The phone slipped from his fingers. When he looked up, his apartment seemed to shimmer, like reality itself was buffering, trying to load. He could see two versions of his room overlapping. One where he stood alone, one where someone else stood, wearing his face, reaching toward him. The last thing Marcus Chen searched before his browser history ended was a simple question. How do you know which reality is real? He never found the answer. But if you ever notice strange websites in your browser history, sites you never visited showing lives you never lived, close your browser. Clear your history. Turn off your computer. Because somewhere, in another dimension, another version of you is looking for a way home. And your browser might just be the door they've been searching for.